Our channel is fueled by Tesla owners who send us their crazy videos, and we compile the most insane ones into a new episode every week. Let's start from the beginning. William sent us this video from when he was driving his Tesla Model 3 on I-15 in Farmington, Utah. A pickup truck pulling a travel trailer passed him on his left. Suddenly, the truck driver drifted into William's lane, almost hitting the sedan in front of him. The driver jerked back into his own lane, but lost control in the process, causing the trailer to start wobbling. William thinks the driver was distracted or sleepy, and he suspects he wasn't using an equalizer hitch. By the way, here's what you should do if your trailer starts to sway. Take your foot off the accelerator to start slowing down, but don't apply the brakes. Firmly grip the steering wheel, but avoid turning it. Be patient and wait for the sway to subside. We don't know if this driver did any of those things, but whatever they did, things didn't end well for the trailer. William told us it wasn't safe for him to stop, but he immediately called 911 and sent them his Teslacam footage. Milo was driving his Model 3 with his girlfriend in New York City when an Infiniti driver began tailgating them. The Infiniti driver overtook him right before an intersection, but as he passed, his lane began to slow down. As Milo noticed this, he sped up to close the gap. The Infiniti driver decided to push Milo into a pole. He then stopped, rolled down his window, and threatened Milo. Milo told us he's not a pushover, so they continued arguing until the Infiniti driver finally began moving very slowly. Milo went into the right lane to pass since he now had them stuck at the light. When Milo stopped, they continued to argue, and Milo told us he got out of his car and threatened to shoot Milo and his girlfriend. Milo told us he sent us this video to see if our viewers can help identify this guy, as it's illegal to carry a gun in New York. He's just glad the situation didn't get any further out of control. When Milo called 911, they told him to pull over and wait for police to come and make a report, which they never did. Imagine for a moment what it must be like to T-bone a cop car. Actually, you don't need to imagine it, we're going to show it to you. Elon was driving home from lunch when he saw a police SUV with lights and siren active approaching him rapidly from behind. Elon pulled over to let the cop pass, then resumed driving. When the police car entered the upcoming intersection where his light was red, he was T-boned by the driver of a pickup truck who had a green light. Elon pulled over to help and told us the officer was dazed after the airbags had deployed. Shortly thereafter, the officer was joined by additional officers as well as firefighters. When a sergeant arrived at the scene, Elon told him his Teslacam had captured everything. The sergeant and another officer joined him in his Tesla to review the footage. They were amazed by the Tesla's cameras and mentioned they should have those for their own cars. Elon asked the younger officer if she was subscribed to Wham Bam Teslacam. Just kidding, he actually asked if she had a laptop, which she did. Elon was able to plug his USB drive into the officer's laptop and give her a copy of his footage. By the way, it's pretty unusual for a cop to plug an unfamiliar USB drive into their laptop. This is a common way that hackers gain access to computers and install harmful malware. Thankfully, Elon isn't an evil hacker, as far as we know, so he didn't give the cops anything more than his footage, for which they were very grateful. Val starts her story with a message. Don't try to scam a Tesla owner. While she was driving home in her Model S, she was sideswiped by a Ford Explorer. Both drivers got out to talk, and Val stayed calm throughout the conversation. She took down the Ford driver's info, but agreed not to make an insurance claim if he paid for the damage. Val got a repair quote of $1,000 and passed it along to the Ford driver. He replied that the price was unreasonable, then claimed that Val had hit him and he was going to file a claim with Val's insurance provider. Val just told him to go ahead. A day after his insurance provider contacted Val, she sent them her Teslacam videos and they immediately cut her a check for the repairs. By the way, they paid her a lot more than $1,000. Once more for the fume sniffers, don't try to scam a Tesla owner. Val sent us another video, this one a case of instant justice. She told us speeding drivers tailgating and cutting people off are a regular occurrence on her daily commute, and this day was no exception when she encountered an aggressive Dodge Charger driver. Unlike on other days, this time another player entered the game, the New York Police Department. Val told us it was such a good feeling to see one of these guys finally get stopped. Here comes another trailer crash. This time it was Line who witnessed an oncoming car pulling a trailer when they started having trouble. Line thinks the weight was too far toward the rear of the trailer, causing it to start swaying before it flew over the center cement barrier. Since Line was traveling at high speed in the opposite direction, she wasn't able to stop. Emily was heading home from work when the driver in front of her suddenly made a Hollywood-style handbrake turn to get a better look at her Model Y. Okay, not really. The truck actually just lost control somehow, spinning out and forcing Emily to slam on the brakes to avoid hitting it. Emily isn't sure how the truck suddenly lost control. The asphalt in the right lane was only a couple of days old. Maybe that had something to do with it. Leave a comment if you know what might have caused this. This submitter was driving his Model Y in Frederickson, Washington when he noticed a big pickup truck huffing and puffing behind him. The Ford F-350 Super Duty lined up for a pass, leaving our submitter in a cloud of vaporized dinosaurs. Interestingly, the truck only had engine trouble while passing the Tesla. The rest of the time, it didn't seem to have any emissions issues. At the next red light, our submitter ended up behind the same truck, and suddenly the driver was gassy again. Check that out, the truck was rocking dealer plates. So be sure to visit Austin's Auto Sales if you're looking to buy a pickup truck that reflects your own intestinal issues. We're betting those bikers really appreciated that. The poor pickup driver then slowed down so he could take one more look at his dream car before farting his way down the road. When he did, our submitter decided to give him a good look at what a modern vehicle is capable of. A pickup truck nearly clipped the front of Dave's 2-week-old Tesla. When Dave gave him a 2-second honk, he stopped, then started to back up. Dave started to accelerate, but the insecure pickup driver continued to follow him in reverse. Dave lightly stepped on the juice pedal and made an easy escape. What even is that? That truck looks like it's straight out of a horror movie. Guy was obeying the speed limit when he was overtaken by a black Mercedes that was obviously speeding. Suddenly, the Mercedes driver slammed on the brakes. As they rounded a corner, they encountered a hidden police car. Maybe the other driver was using a speed trap app. Guy thought it was pretty funny how fast the Mercedes driver dropped the anchor. Someone left a loose shopping cart unattended in a Lowe's parking lot. The cart demon took no time at all possessing it and sending it straight toward our submitter's Tesla. It crashed into the Tesla, denting the tailgate and scratching the paint on the bumper cover. Our submitter told us it's the strangest thing he's ever seen. He doesn't know what the repairs will cost, but the car has a clear wrap and an expensive ceramic coating, so it's not gonna be cheap. Here comes a crazy story of double trouble. 2 crashed Teslas. Alexander was on his way home from work, traveling southbound on US Route 101 just after the Reseda Boulevard exit. Alexander had autopilot engaged when traffic suddenly slowed down and the driver of the Prius in the left lane slammed on the brakes and lost control. The car spun out and skidded into the side of Alexander's Tesla. Alexander couldn't swerve to avoid the accident because of a Subaru in the lane to his right, which blocked his only escape route. He told us autopilot didn't react because, frankly, there was nothing it or he could have done. Alexander pointed out that we can see autopilot correct to keep him in the lane right after the impact. Police arrived at the scene of the collision, and Alexander emailed them and the Prius driver copies of his Teslacam footage. He also sent the video to his wife and kids with the caption, "We're going to be on Wham Bam Teslacam." Alexander has Tesla insurance, so he filed a claim right from his Tesla app and got an appointment for the next day to have his car looked at by a body shop. His car was drivable until he got home, but then the rear door suddenly popped open and wouldn't lock shut. Sadly, this meant he had to leave the car in the body shop and drive a rental until it was fixed. Cue up part 2 of the story, because the rental he got was a 2023 Model Y, which he calls the Enterprise Rent-A-Car Special. Only 5 days after that first crash, Alexander was heading home when his rental was rear-ended by another Toyota. Why is Toyota out to get you, Alexander? Alexander was so excited to get a Tesla as a rental car, and he told us Enterprise has been fantastic throughout the ordeal. They worked hard to get him into a Tesla, which seems to be the only one they had. Alexander texted his kids, "We're going to be on Wham Bam Teslacam again." The estimated repair bill for the Model S is just over $21,000 US. They have to replace both doors, the B-pillar cover and reinforcement bar, and wrap that side of the car with a new paint protection wrap. It'll be back on the road soon, and Alexander can keep enjoying Wham Bam videos on the center screen while supercharging. Thanks for this tweet, Alexander. Alexander wanted to shout out Jason at the LA Tesla Motor Club and their club sponsor for helping him out. Ethan was getting ready to pass an SUV on the right side of the highway when a hubcap flew off and hit his Tesla. Ethan got the SUV driver to pull over, but when he took a look at it, he couldn't find any hubcaps. When he asked her if she used to have any, she told him she didn't know. Ethan didn't get her insurance info since he couldn't be sure if the hubcap had been hers after not finding any others. Once he got home, he was able to review his Teslacam video and confirm that the hubcap had indeed come from the SUV. Ethan was quoted $1,900 US to fix the damage to his bumper, so he contacted the state patrol to get the SUV driver's insurance information. John was driving his Model 3 in Los Angeles when the driver of a silver Honda Accord cut him off. The Honda driver proceeded to cut off a California Highway Patrol vehicle, and they immediately turned on their party lights and pulled over the Honda bumper. Honda driver. Brian was going 75 miles per hour when he was rear-ended by a Dodge Challenger that was going much faster than he was. The video is crazy, but you'll have to wait to see it until next week. At least we hope we can show it to you next week. We asked Brian for the original Teslacam footage, but he hasn't replied yet. Brian, if you're watching, check your spam folder. As for the rest of you, yes, you watching right now, be sure to subscribe. Otherwise, how else will you find out if Brian ever checks his spam folder?